So every time we've gone on a road trip with all five of my kids, ages 3 to 11, at some point or another, some child would not go to the bathroom when we stop on a road trip. Today, we're going to solve all of that with my 9 biggest tips in solving potty resistance during a road trip. Please subscribe and like this video, and let's go. So today, we're going to talk about resistance during a road trip. Now, I have 5 kids over the course of 11 years. I am a huge fan of traveling, and I also have babies who don't let me not do EC while traveling. So I have done a lot of potty tunities in a lot of public bathrooms, truck stops, you name it, Airbnbs, hotels, on the sidewalk. I mean, I've done it everywhere during road trips. So today I'm going to share with you 9 tricks to solve potty resistance during a road trip. Because sometimes pottying in public is a lot easier than pottying at home. But on the other hand, it can be really, really frustrating if your baby resists on a potty tunity during a road trip and you really need to get back on the road. And this is no joke, where a 5-hour trip turns into a 10-hour trip. Ask me how I know. Maybe you're in the same boat. So, the first thing I want to suggest, we've got 9 total, is to bring your potty or your seat from home. So, get your baby really, really used to using a certain potty seat, whether it's the Top Hat potty, the mini potty we have at Tiny Undies, or you've got a Ginsey toilet seat reducer, which I love, that has the handles. Even if it doesn't fold up, it doesn't matter. Maybe you'll use the Pottet Plus at home because that's really good for your porta potties and you're pottying over grass and everything, and they get used to that at home. If you have a month before you go on a road trip, maybe, or this includes air travel too, you guys, you can apply this to that as well, but especially road trips we're talking about today, where you have to make stops and you really need them to go. The last thing we want is potty resistance to go on. So I just remembered something that I didn't remember in here. So I'm going to give you the bonus tip first. So number 1 is bring your potty seat from home. I don't care how big it is. Get a giant bag from TJ Maxx, stick your full-on potty seat in it, carry that with you so that when you go to the public toilet or when you potty inside your minivan, you have the right receptacle that you already know your baby uses. We don't want to put a new potty in the picture on a road trip, okay? I'm going to give you the bonus tip too. I want you, because I'm going to forget by the end, I want you to always cover the public toilet sensor, because I'm pretty sure I didn't put this in here. Yeah, I didn't put this in my list. That one thing will ruin your public toilet potty tunity experience permanently. Like you're not going to psychologically damage your baby, but you're going to traumatize them a little bit if the toilet flushes on their butt. And did you know that has a name? If you look it up in Urban Dictionary, it's the pupus interruptus. When the auto flush toilet goes off on your butt when you are sitting on it, there is a name for it. It's crazy. And I actually, you know how I am. I'm an entrepreneur and I have an invention for that I'm going to be pre-selling to you guys really, 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 really soon. That is so amazing. It's fully developed. We're actually starting production already and I'm going to be taking pre-orders on it. I can't tell you what it is, but it solves this possibility of your auto flush going off on your baby's butt. Now, back to this. So that's your bonus tip. You're going to put a little piece of toilet paper on top of the sensor so the eye can't see them. We never, ever, ever once want to risk that toilet going off on your baby because they will be afraid to go on that potty for 3 or 4 years on any public toilet. My daughter, Isadora, is 8 now. She's just now getting to where she feels comfortable going on public toilets. She just wouldn't go. And then you have problems if they won't go during a road trip. So let's get back to that topic. So that was bonus tip. Number 2, keep your potty in the car and use the bathroom in the car. Some babies just aren't going to go in a public toilet, or maybe you don't want to go in there because it's kind of gross. I have definitely pottied in the car a lot. I recommend it. You guys probably know this. Before and after shopping, whip out that potty. The Top Hat potty you can use even with a 2-year-old if you aim correctly, if you've got a boy, but you really want to do it inside the car if possible. Whenever, and we'll talk about this in a second, where we have everybody try at a stop, we want to do that in the car with the baby if possible. And if there's another adult there, then they can watch the baby while the rest of you go into the public toilet. But it's just a little bit easier to manage doing this in the toilet. And then what do I do with the pee if they go pee in the potty in the car? Well, I always keep a mini potty in the car. I've gone in the mini potty in the car. Maybe you have as well. And that's interesting too. Sure, the car is pulled over. And if we're on the side of the road where there's grass, we're just going to dump that pee right into the grass. But what if it's poop? If it's poop, you're going to want to put it in a bag And you're going to want to tie that bag up and then bring it to a trash can or to somewhere where you can, like, think about if you had a dog and you picked up their poop with a bag, where would you throw that? Okay, you wouldn't just leave it on the side of the road, so we're not going to do that either. Okay. The other thing is if you do the Patet Plus and you do it over the grass, then you don't have anything to dump. There are so many ways to do this, but we want to go potty in the car, pulled over, obviously, I wouldn't pull over on the side of the highway. It's super dangerous. Take the next exit ramp and go and find yourself somewhere safe to do this. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is use a diaper backup as a tool during the trip. Will it hurt to say, go ahead and go in your diaper because we can't pull over right now? No, it won't hurt your progress at all. Your baby will understand. And I've had to do that with a 9-month-old baby who is already out of diapers. I put a diaper backup on him in the car and said, well, you're going to have to use that because we can't pull over right now. Some babies are going to insist. They won't take it. They won't have it. You're going to be out of luck. You're going to have to pull over. But the cool thing is you are supporting them as an individual and their dignity and their autonomy. So in a way, spending 10 hours to go 5 hours is worth it. And it's not going to be forever that you do this. Eventually, they're going to be able to hold it the entire trip. And you'll be like, wow, that was a tiny blip on the whole screen, the whole life of my baby in diapers. So yes, even with Isadora, who was out of diapers at 13 months, telling me every time at 15 months, we went on lots of road trips between 14 months and 20 months, and I always put her in a diaper backup during those road trips. And then one day I just decided not to. So full permission granted, that's number 3. Number 4, time your trip. You want to leave right after breakfast, if possible. Maybe after breakfast, we do a little playtime, then we do our first snack at 10 a.m., then we get in the car. Is your baby still doing a morning nap? Leave right after breakfast. Then you will have a lot of your trip be nap time. If your baby is down to 1 nap a day in the afternoons, then you're going to want to leave right after lunch. If you time your trip to be during nap time, you're going to have a lot less potty opportunities. And when your baby wakes up from nap, that's when you're going to offer. So that's number 4. Number 5, occupy them. Oh my gosh. You will have less, can I pee, mama? I need to go pee. Crying. Wow, wow, wow. If you occupy your child with either constant snacks or tiny snacks that take a long time to eat or entertainment. Now, I personally don't show movies to my kids, but once a week. And usually it's Little House on the Prairie. And I try to do things that are not going to influence them culturally. I think there's a lot of stuff out there right now that's really dangerous to watch. So I try not to. My exception is on a road trip. I got these Kindle Fires for all of them. Yes, my youngest is 3. If you've got a baby, obviously you're not going to want to stick them in front of a screen. But you know what? Try it out. And if it works and it helps you and it keeps them occupied and you only do it during that road trip to and from your house, wow, that is going to make a lot less questions, a lot less I need a potty tunity, and a lot more smooth and stress-free drive. It's so important for you to be able to focus on the road when you're driving. And it can be a lot more pleasant trip if you just use screens as a tool, only as a tool. So I won't tell anybody if you want to do that. I definitely do it. We're about to go to Georgia, then we're going to go to South Carolina, then we're going to go to Georgia again to go to the beach 3 times this summer. I have the Kindle Fires in the closet. I will bring them out for that. You can download the videos straight to it and then have them watch what you've chosen for them. So they're not connected to the internet. They're not apps. They're not games and none of that stuff. But honestly, whatever works for you. We've also had the full-on seat back trays that have all the drawing stuff and the crayons and everything else. You can do that too. Whatever keeps them occupied. I definitely overfeed snacks during road trips because, again, I really want my kids to be like really chill during a trip because it stresses me out. I'm very sensitive to sounds. Stresses me out, makes it a dangerous trip if they're not occupied. And they just ask to go pee less. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, know your child's timing and assess the seriousness of signals. Your child will play with you and will say they need to go. They need to go. But really, they just want to get out of the car. And honestly, so do you probably want to get out of the car. But we need to stick with it. So how do we decide if they're just playing with us, they're just toying with us, oh, they can't possibly need to go again. We literally just stopped 15 minutes ago. So know if they did a full poop or not on your last exit of the car. Know what their usual natural timing is. Maybe they go every 45 minutes. Okay, it's only been 5 minutes. Okay, honey, we'll just wait a little while and here's a snack, and just to delay that because you know that they don't need to go really until every 45 minutes. And again, a child will not hold it if it hurts. So they're going to release. Another wonderful thing to do, and I don't think I have this in here, is to protect your car seat so you don't have a massive cleanup to do. I have these wonderful waterproof pads from Tiny Undies that I sell, and just fold that a couple times, twice, stick it in the bottom of their car seat, and that's bonus tip number 2. All right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everybody tries to go potty at every stop. If you have a teenager and your grandpa and your 2-month-old daughter and your husband, everybody tries at every road trip stop. Okay. Now, I'm mostly talking about if you have multiple children and your 8-year-old will say, I don't need to go. And your baby is just like, just went and it's great. And you're just like, well, we're not going to stop again. With a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, they're not going to understand the concept of time, which drives me nuts. Like, how can you not understand yet how long a minute is? But they just can't. Let's say we're not going to stop again for the length of a full-length movie. So they know that that's a really long time. But we don't even have a conversation about it. We all go in. Everybody tries. I want to hear some pee from all of you if they're under 10 years old, if they're under 8 years old. If they're 8 and up, usually it's just entering that logical stage and they know whether or not they need to go. But even then, my 11-year-old sometimes will say he doesn't have to go. And then he'll be like, oh, Mom, I got to go right now. We want everybody to try at every stop. Number 8, everybody will pee before we leave the house, including mommy. Ooh, I have bonus tip number 3. Bonus tip number 3 is whoever is driving or in the passenger seat, all the adults, please don't drink tea and coffee to keep yourself awake during the trip. If you're okay with drinking one of these, get a extra strength 5-hour energy. It's for when you're tired, but you're not thirsty. So you're not going to be filling your bladder with all this caffeine and dehydrating yourself. 5-hour energy. I will drink half of one for 2 hours. And then 2 hours later, I'll drink, or 2 hours into the trip, I'll drink half a 5-hour energy. And then I'll drink the other half 2 hours later if I still need it. And what I find is that helps me not to have to be the one who is like, oh, I got to pee so bad and all my kids are napping. You've got 3 kids napping in the back and you're the one who has to pee, you're in trouble. So that's bonus tip number 3. Didn't realize it has so many bonuses, but hey, I told you I do this a lot of times. And my tip number 9 to solve potty resistance during a road trip. So the basis of all 8 so far is you be prepared and they will be less resistant. You be matter of fact and they will be less resistant. I hope that makes sense. Number 9 is drop all expectations of catching a single thing. Your stress because you expect to catch peas like you do at home, or you need to catch a poop or a pee in order to make this road trip a success, and you're a perfectionist like I am, all that stress is going to cause resistance. An auto flush going off will cause resistance. Not having the right potty seat will cause resistance. Not offering at the right time will cause resistance. When they're toying with you about a signal and they just want to get out of the car seat, they're going to be resistant to the potty because they actually don't need to go. Making this happen right after your baby wakes up from a nap, you're going to have potty resistance because they're going to be grumpy and they won't want to be in the car. So number 9 is super important. Just drop all your expectations, drop the bar to the ground. I know it's embarrassing. I know you become ashamed or you feel guilty about not being a good enough mom or dad when things hit the fan, but nobody's watching except for yourself. So just take a deep breath. Don't expect to catch anything. Use that diaper backup, because if you're not using a diaper backup or you don't have the car seat protected and they're super relaxed and they go in it, you are going to be stressed. You're going to have so much resistance just because of your mood being so negative during the road trip. And honestly, going on a road trip shouldn't be stressful. Going on vacation shouldn't be stressful. I know that oftentimes mine have been when I've been holding onto the wheel too hard and have too high of expectations on myself and my children. You know, I'm a single mom. I've got 5 children. I have really learned a lot what to let go of and what to make sure to get. So hopefully these 9 tips to solving potty resistance during a road trip by being prepared and having a very matter-of-fact attitude and just having the plan and sticking with it. And if you have a husband or a wife or a partner that you're traveling with, be on the same page about these things. Go through all of this, make some notes and go, okay, this is our plan to tackle how to potty during the road trip to reduce the possibility of resistance. I really hope that was helpful for you. And that's all I have to say about that. Thanks so much for watching. So I want you to leave a comment below with when you have found an issue with road trip pottying, what you did to solve it, or if you have any questions about an experience you've already had, or maybe preparing for a trip coming up, please leave those in the comments below as well, and we'll be sure to help you. Please hit subscribe and like, and we'll let you know when the next video plays.